Good morning, fathers of daughters. This is FMB Martin, and welcome to another live stream at Grow Dad YouTube channel. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All fathers are welcome, regardless of your ethnic group, background, and or culture. Mi amigos, bienvenidos. Aquí, hoy, gracias. All right, fathers, we are here for another live stream. And today's discussion, fathers, we're just going to have a short discussion, and I'm going to show you some videos regarding the dark side of baby and toddler pageants. I'm a grow dad of 4 adult daughters, 36, 30, 26, and 24. And let me tell you, when my daughters were little, I was approached all the time, regarding them being placed or, put into beauty pageants or models, things like that when they were little girls. And as a father of daughters, I always said no. I got approached all the time, specifically whenever I took my daughters to the mall with me. I always had them with me. And I would get approached by women all the time about my daughters, potentially being put in baby and toddler pageants. And I always said no, fathers. And let me explain why. For me, I think that one of the things we need to make sure that we do is we have to, when we're rearing our daughters and raising them, we want to make sure that we're raising them to love themselves on the inside, show them what true beauty is on the inside, where true beauty comes from. And if we teach them to love themselves on the inside and where true beauty lies on the inside, they will become amazing little girls and amazing women on the outside. Because we know that beauty standards in today's world, depending on where you live culturally, are going to be different. But women are measured way different when it comes to the beauty scale than men. And we know that, fathers. And one of the things I learned from working in the criminal justice system for 20 years, in K-12 education for 10 years, is that our little girls are going to be challenged on every level when it comes to their development, when it comes to their standards of beauty. And most of that criticism is going to come from their very own mothers, not their fathers, their very own mothers. A lot of mothers are very, very critical of their daughters. It's a competition thing with women. It's their DNA, fathers. I've seen it happen throughout my life. I've worked with thousands of children in a 30-year period, career-wise, in the criminal justice system, in K-12 education. And self-esteem for so many of our baby girls is vital. It's important. And fathers, if we don't help nurture that self-esteem of our baby girls, they can be headed for trouble because they're going to be getting critical observations from their mothers and their aunts and their girl cousins. That's where most of their critical observation will come from. Women who look like them, who talk like them. So fathers, I'm here on this live stream because I want to take a look at toddler and baby pageants, beauty pageants in particular when it comes to women, because it will affect their mental health. Women today, when we're talking about Gen Z and Gen Alpha little girls, they spend so much time on social media and social media platforms. So fathers, we can't monitor a lot of the things they do. They use a lot of different filters on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube when it comes to beauty. If you go to YouTube and you put in beauty, you're going to be amazed, fathers, at what comes up. Tutorials on eyelashes, nails, face, plastic surgery, you name it, it's on YouTube. So fathers, we just have to make sure when it comes to our baby girls that we install in them to love themselves on the inside, because true beauty lies within, right?
And we have to make sure, fathers, that we're part of that nurturing process when it comes to their beauty. We're going to have to go over it over and over and over again. With my own baby girls, I always made sure that I showed them that I love them, that I told them that I loved them. But I always told them the beauty on the inside is what's going to resonate them to become awesome little girls, teenagers, young adults, and adult women. And fathers, we have to make sure that we're part of that process. One of the things I always made sure with my baby girls, when I fed them, I grilled most of my daughter's food when they were little girls until they got out of high school. I fed them. I made sure when they went to school, I packed their lunches, K through 8. I did a lot of things for my daughters. I made sure that they were eating healthy foods, not a bunch of junk, not a bunch of sweets. So I was a part of that. And I made sure that my girls end up having healthy appetites. And today, as adult women, they've got great, amazing appetites. They do. So fathers, we could be a part of that success, right? But we're going to need to validate our baby girls because they're going to possibly compare themselves to the beauty standards of the world. There's a lot of pressure that's out there within their peer groups and outside their peer groups. Like I said, all you have to do is spend a little bit of time on social media platforms. Spend some time on Instagram and see the craziness and madness, the injections that women take, that they put in their face, liposuction, like I said, plastic surgeon, BBLs, altering their bodies for whatever, for the reasons of feeling good on the inside. Their self-esteem, it's going to be challenged, fathers. Okay? So fathers, I want to encourage you to be a part of that. I've got a few good videos that I want to share with you today, fathers. It's not going to be an extremely long live stream. And I'm going to show all these videos. There's about 5 of them. I believe they're anywhere between 2 and 8 minutes. It will approximately last less than 30 minutes for all these videos. But I want to share the beauty industry. I want to share pageants. I want to show you how it affects our daughters, or how it will affect our daughters' mental health when it comes to beauty. I don't have a problem with women competing with each other, but when it comes to the beauty standards of the world, we have to be very, very careful. And we have to pay attention to what our daughters are going through and what they're putting themselves through and who they're comparing themselves to, fathers. Very, very critical. And like I said, most of the critical observations will come directly from their mothers, their aunts, their sisters, and their cousins, their female cousins. So we have to be aware of that, fathers. Okay? All right, fathers, let's get into these videos. This is video number 1, fathers.
Beauty psychology is a relatively new field that aims to understand the cognitive, emotional, and social processes underlying our perception of beauty. Beauty is a complex and multifaceted concept that has intrigued humans for centuries. Beauty is not just a matter of personal taste or preference. There are objective features of beauty that are universally recognized across cultures and time periods. Evolutionary psychology suggests that our attraction to certain types of beauty may be linked to our evolutionary history. Physical attractiveness is an important component of beauty, but there are also other factors that contribute to our perception of beauty. Personality, intelligence, and creativity are all factors that can make someone more beautiful. Beauty has a powerful impact on our lives and our society. Beauty can influence our mental health and well-being. Beauty can also affect our relationships and social interactions. Beauty standards and ideals are constructed and perpetuated in our culture. Beauty can be used as a tool for social comparison and status seeking. Beauty can be a source of both pleasure and pain. Beauty can be empowering or disempowering, depending on how it is used. Beauty is not always positive or beneficial. Understanding the science of beauty can help us gain insight into the ways in which it impacts our lives. The study of beauty psychology draws on insights from a range of disciplines, including psychology, neuroscience, evolutionary biology, and sociology. Beauty psychology seeks to understand the ways in which our brains process and respond to beauty. The brain areas involved in processing beauty include the visual cortex, the limbic system, and the prefrontal cortex. Beauty is a subjective experience that is influenced by both internal and external factors. Beauty can be a source of pleasure and positive emotions, such as joy and awe. Beauty can also be a source of negative emotions, such as envy and shame. Beauty can influence our behavior, including our purchasing decisions and social interactions. The study of beauty psychology can help us understand the ways in which beauty standards and ideals are constructed and perpetuated. The media, advertising, and fashion industries all play a role in shaping beauty ideals. Beauty ideals can be harmful and exclusionary, particularly when they reinforce narrow, Eurocentric standards of beauty. Beauty can be a tool for self-expression and creativity. Beauty can also be a source of social identity and belonging. The study of beauty psychology can help us understand the ways in which beauty is constructed and experienced in different cultures and societies. Ultimately, the study of beauty psychology is about gaining a deeper understanding of this complex and multifaceted concept, and its impact on our lives and our world.
Get it straight. Get it straight, Mommy.
8-year-old Mahaley has been taking part in beauty pageants since she was 2 years old. Preparation takes hours, kicking off with a spray tan.
Who is that in that picture?
Me,
You look very different.
because I'm glitz.
You're blitzed. Do you like being blitzed?
Yes.
Mahaley almost manages to sit still long enough for full makeup to be applied.
Go, girl.
Mahaley's mum, Cherie, loves the pageant world. She insists her daughter loves it too. Cherie says it gives Mahaley confidence.
I'm a perfectionist. I have to have it right. Don't talk. Okay, now let me see. Oh, now we're talking, Pop. And it's a drill team hat.
This is what she calls her tribute to America outfit. But there's a problem.
What's up, grumpy face?
She thinks her hat fits weird, but it's okay. It's the part of the outfit. Remember, you're only wearing it for 5 minutes, and you're not jumping around. It shines, baby doll. It's Texas. Yes, spark, baby. It's Texas.
She don't like the hat.
Little girls of all ages take part. It's estimated that 250,000 children compete in more than 5,000 pageants in the United States each year. This one's organizer insists appearance isn't everything. But critics argue this simply isn't healthy for young girls.
The long-term impact of what this means psychologically for kids, the over-reliance on how you look in the teen years, this might turn into an eating disorder. If you think being Miley Cyrus or Britney Spears or someone like that is a goal and that's your way to a better life, then this is a great training ground.
Parents spend thousands of dollars making sure they get exactly the right look. Mahaley did get a trophy, but it wasn't for first place.
I think that I brought perfectness with hair, makeup, dress, and then when you don't win that, you have to wonder, what did I do wrong?
The celebrity culture of appearance over substance is fueling the dreams of fame in this world of miniature ball gowns and false lashes. The quest for perfection continues as each little girl tries to find her place in the spotlight. Amanda Walker, Sky News, Austin, Texas.
feelings and our
when people think about the term high functioning depression, what they're really thinking about is a person where when you look at them, outward appearances are that they might not be suffering or struggling with depression at all.
depression doesn't look the same on everyone. So many people still perceive depression, anxiety, mental illness to look a certain way. And surely it couldn't be someone who is successful, brilliant, and beautiful. But the truth is, mental illness has the ability to impact every single one of us. Statistically, 1 out of 5 people will be impacted by a mental illness. And so it becomes absolutely essential for you as a human being, for us as people, to intentionally, meaning we intentionally take the time, we put in the effort, we seek out resources that we have access to learn the language around and about mental health, about mental illness, and learn how to then also label and communicate our feelings and our emotions. And even aside from that self-awareness, we should educate ourselves on how we can then reach out to others, to check on each other, to use the proper words that shows that we're there for someone, because it does take a certain perspective. You need to be compassionate and understanding, and sometimes we need to learn how to properly do that.
It's not always simple, it's not always straightforward, and I think that those moments when we do feel down, that's when we want to seek the sources of validation that are secure for us. You have that one trusted friend, if you have that one source of social support, if you save affirmations or positive mantras on your device and you go look at those, right? There are many other ways that we can seek out that validation, particularly when we feel down. And I think the key is recognizing what are those strong sources. If you have them, and if you don't have them, how can you develop and pull together some of those sources to support yourself so that you don't go seeking that validation in the wrong place?
We all have to cherish each other. We all have to cherish the loved ones around us, and we all have to do a better job at uplifting each other. And then if you know that someone is struggling, reach out and help them, or give them the resources that they need, or simply just let them know that you're there. Simply having a listening ear can make a world of a difference.
Continue reaching out. Even if the first, second, third attempt goes unanswered, please continue being persistent with that loved one, with that friend, with that person that you know is maybe alone or going through something. Please be persistent.
It's really important that you listen. And you listen to hear, not necessarily listen to solve the problem, not listen to tell the person what the solution is, but to really listen. And sometimes someone just wants to get it out. So, wrap your arms around the person, listen to the person. And if you're really hearing that the person is in distress, you have to try to refer the person or let them know about resources they can reach out to for help. So for example, the suicide prevention hotline, right? You want to, if you really find that someone's in dire distress, refer them. But at the core, you want to be a listening ear. It starts there. Too many times we listen and try to solve. We don't listen just to hear, and that's critical.
There are many things we can be, but one of the best things we can be that's free, it doesn't cost us a lot, is to be kind to others, and I think most important is to be kind to ourselves.
To anyone who's watching, please check in with yourself. I know so many of you feel a weight of responsibility that may come from your position in your workplace. You could be a leader of a team. You could be a provider of your family, a pillar of your community, but you can't continue to pour out of a cup that's empty. So please look after yourselves, check in with yourselves, give yourselves grace. It's not selfish, it's necessary for you to continue to give and give even more, but to make sure that you yourself are filled, that you yourself are taken care of.
It can be so hard to reach out to people in times of need, but there will always be people who care about you and love you.
Check in on each other
and lead with kindness.
A public memorial. A public memorial for late Miss USA Chesley Christ is set for next week in North Carolina. You heard Miss Bryant, they're referencing the impact that Christ's death had on the community, and she died by suicide less than 2 weeks ago. It's now leading to major changes and conversations within the Miss USA organization. Pageant officials say there will be a renewed focus on really making sure that pageant winners get the mental health help that they need. We took a deep dive into what mental health actually looks like in the pageant world and what many women say still needs to be done.
I think it's something that needs to be discussed openly more often because there's a stigma that comes with taking care of your mental health, even though there shouldn't be.
She was just a pillar of wisdom.
She was this powerhouse of a woman.
The beauty pageant community reeling after the death of Miss USA 2019, Chesley Christ.
She's so incredibly intelligent and accomplished and warm.
She was someone who was not only beautiful on the outside, but beautiful on the inside.
Her death by suicide now shining a spotlight on mental health within the industry.
It's a conversation that we do need to be having.
For some former contestants, those concerns started early.
I started competing in pageants when I was 14 years old. I developed what I now believe was an eating disorder, as an undiagnosed eating disorder, when I was 20 or 21 years old. I lost a bunch of weight, looked phenomenal, and everybody was just really, everybody kept commenting on how good I looked, but I was miserable.
Others saying some of the worst pressure comes from outside the organization.
The hardest part of pageantry is not between us girls. There's this pressure to be perfect, to say the right things, to look perfect all the time. It's something that's not spoken about at all.
They forget that beauty queens or anyone who participates in pageants are real people. They're not just sort of like this perfection, this, perfect human. We have our flaws, and reading some of the things that people post on social media is hurtful.
The year Chesley won Miss USA, Black women held the crowns of all 5 major beauty pageants. And from the moment she began her reign, she faced a barrage of racist comments.
See, when I read that, everything is true.
Being someone who breaks the barrier and becomes someone who blazes a trail is great and amazing, but it also means sometimes more eyes and even more criticism. In the Black community, there's so much strength and resilience, and sometimes that same strength makes folks feel like they have to deal with it on their own.
But despite the pressure, many contestants say the pageants also help them build confidence.
I'm someone who was very shy, very reserved. So before I participated in the Miss Florida or Miss USA pageant, but I've come to be so much more confident, so much more comfortable in my skin. And I think that people don't understand the amount of confidence that it takes to stand up on stage, to speak, in public.
Still, many say the culture of pageantry needs to change.
I just hope that the Miss Universe organization and the Miss America organization, that they see this as the crisis that it is, and that they use it as an opportunity to talk about things more.
That should be part of our prize package, is here's resources for you to help get you through your year.
Mental health experts agree.
Everybody needs to work on maybe some things that happened to them in their past or traumas to help them become better versions of themselves, especially when a person who has one title is now going to be in the national spotlight.
NBC News first to confirm that some changes are already underway within the Miss USA organization.
It sparked conversation about how we can better the organization in terms of mental health, and we're taking steps towards that. So now a therapist will be available for every single title holder, and there's going to be social media etiquette and different conversations that will be held throughout all of the next year and will be available for title holders for years to come.
The Miss Universe organization declined to comment on how it plans to address mental health.
I hope people remember her and remember the legacy that she's left on the pageant world and the world in general.
The Miss USA organization says the rollout of that new program is already underway, and that spot was incredibly edited and produced by our very own Alexandra Cruz.
Yeah, an important story for sure.
And continuing coverage. And continuing coverage, pageants are glamorous, but the competition can pose challenges for those competing. In part 2 of Behind the Crown, our Paula McKenna explores some of those challenges local contestants could face.
Jessica Sublett is a licensed professional counselor at Mark Twain Behavioral Health, but she is far from new to the pageant world.
So some of the issues that can come up, though, are, of course, anxiety about, do I measure up? You know, how am I comparing to the other contestants that I'm competing against? And depression, of course, can follow as well.
Jessica's daughter is Miss Missouri's 2022 Outstanding Teen, Mallory Sublett.
Once you get into the thick of it and you're almost to finals, and it can be hard, but the best advice that I ever got, and it came from my mom, was just to keep to yourself.
Challenges with mental health can stem from different outlets. One that impacts both contestants and everyday life is social media.
Social media has so many pros and cons. We see a lot of bullying and things that go on in social media, and in the pageant realm also, again, it can be a tool that girls use to compare themselves with body image and things like that.
And comparison is something that so many girls struggle with, and I will admit that I've struggled with comparison.
The idea of body image and body positivity has changed a lot over the years, but as Mallory said, many girls still struggle.
Being physically fit does not mean skinny. It does not mean that you have to be a certain size. Being physically fit means you are feeling good in your body.
When it comes to combating different mental obstacles, Jessica points out some key details to remember.
So when dealing with anxieties that might come with this, we do a lot of breathing exercises. And as a therapist, we talk about that a lot. Just kind of grounding yourself, remembering where you are, what your purpose is.
Jessica Sublett also reminds everyone that if you do see signs of depression or anxiety, to reach out and intervene.
Okay, fathers, what are your thoughts on those videos regarding toddler baby pageants and seeing adult women who are struggling with their mental health? I got to tell you, fathers, this is just my advice to you. Do not allow your wives or your ex-wives or the mothers of your children talk you into putting your daughters into beauty pageants of any sort. I'm totally against it. As a father of 4 adult daughters, I cannot even imagine some of the struggles my daughters would have had being subjected to comparisons of beauty. And those are real things, fathers, because most fathers are not going to be paying attention. If their daughters are struggling with their mental health, a lot of fathers are just removed. They're not paying attention to that. And I'm going to tell you, working with thousands of kids in a 30-year period from all socioeconomic classes and cultures, little girls are great at hiding their eating disorders. They're great at hiding their eating disorders. And a lot of times when fathers find this out, they're shocked because they're not really paying attention to the signs. And there's so many signs, right? So fathers, I will encourage you to do your own homework, do your own research when it comes to your baby girls. All the videos I use in my live streams are always available in the description of the live stream. So they're always available. You can go back and watch them. But fathers, I encourage you to do your own research. But that's just my advice to fathers of daughters, girl dads. I would not allow my daughters to participate. I didn't. It wasn't a battle at all, because I think as a father of daughters, you have to understand we're men. You know how men are. You know how little boys can be, how cruel they could be. And little girls have to deal with so much in their lives, birth to 18 years of age, and you throw the whole beauty component on that. I'm telling you, it's a market for disaster, fathers. It's just my personal opinion. And like I said, I was approached all the time with my daughters, and the answer was always no. It ain't happening. Not in my household. Not doing it. It's just too much. It's way too much. So many of these baby girls, they can't handle it. That could be the difference between them living and wanting to take their lives. I mean, that's what it is. They have to deal with so many other things being little girls. And to put that on their plate as well, no, I'm good. I'm good. I made a lot of great decisions when it came to my baby girls, and teaching them to love themselves on the inside, working with their self-esteem, being part of that success. My daughters turned out great. They're fine. They're good. Okay, fathers, just want to share this live stream with you. And feel free to comment. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to reach out to me. I live stream once a week. All fathers are welcome. You're always welcome at Grow That YouTube channel. Okay, fathers? All right, fathers. I'll be back next week for another live stream. Okay? Kiss them babies, love them babies, hug them babies. Show them you love them, tell them you love them. All right, fathers, that's our job. Validation, validation, validation. Okay, mis amigos, hasta la próxima semana. Paz. Okay, fathers, I'm out. This is Efrem B. Martin. Have a great week. I'll holler at you next week. Peace.